What's this? Wait, what? There we go. Oh, spoilers. There we go. Where did everyone put their scripts? Nice. I am really sure. Okay. I might. I don't know. I might. Okay, that's fine. Huh? I should have actually. Wore some boots.
Right, are we recording? Are we ready? Okay, round of applause.
We got that. All right. All right. Hi, my name's Simon Paul. This is my TED Talk, and my question today is how films are rated, and how they affect the film's box office success. And yeah, today I want to talk about the film ratings and reviews within the industry, and whether they should impact our opinions on films from our own experience. Because myself, a lot of times, I do look at film reviews before I go into a film, and I do know it's pointless most of the time because it's all opinion based, and I just wonder if everyone else feels the same way, and whether some people do feel like it should affect their view on a film, whether it's good or bad. And yeah, to make sure I can answer this question today, I've researched loads into sources from websites, videos, and quotes from professional critics who have their own opinions on it. And where am I? One example I want to show you today, which made me think of this question mainly, was the release of Joker, because on the two main review sources, Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb, they both contrasted majorly in the way they rated the film. And so that's the reason I've chose that topic, as you can see there. And as you can see here, the Joker, on IMDb I had 8.6, and it was really high ratings. Then on you see on Rotten Tomatoes, it had 88% audience score and a 69% on the tomato meter. And I wondered why this was even like a thing, like why did it contrast so much? Because surely if a film is good, surely it should have similar like reviews. So I looked into how IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes actually rate their films first, and I found out that IMDb take all the votes from their users on the website, so it's like more audience based, and their reactions of the film, and they give like a percentage through 8.6 out of 10. So it's out of 10 ratings. And then on Rotten Tomatoes, it's a mixture between users on the website and professional critics, and then they obviously sum it up in a percentage through their tomato meter. And as you can see on the audience score, it's 88%, which is more close to IMDb. And then because actual critics have reviewed it, it goes down to 69. And after I found that out, I started to have an understanding that different sources of reviews use their own formula. And then I looked actually what they look into when actually making their opinions. And then I found a website that shows that a majority of these critics or film review sources use 6 elements, and the 6 elements are script, character, and acting, timing, sound, and visuals. And I found that interesting because a lot of films do use all these 6 elements, but I still found that it didn't actually sum up. I got a film here. I was going to make a questionnaire of how many people like this film, because most people I do know actually enjoy this film. I'll show a quick clip if anyone unfamiliar with it. I'll just skip ahead to this point, for example. It is Cat in the Hat. It's like a children's film, and most people I do know really enjoy this film, and I haven't found one person who hasn't enjoyed it. As you can see underneath, I'll just pause it now. It's got really low reviews. It's 3.9 on IMDb, 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 19% on Metacritic. And I was unsure why, because I obviously followed the 6 Elements as well. It did stick to standard codes and conventions. And to carry on looking from this, I wanted more personal opinions. So I did go on to online reviewers, and I found on YouTube these 3 people. The first one on the bottom left is Chris Stuckman. Top right is Jeremy Jahns, or however you want to pronounce that. And then the second one is Mark Kermode, I think. And I'll start with Chris. Chris Stuckman's like a YouTube personality who's got a big fan base. He's got like 1.6 million subscribers maybe. And he reviews films in his own personal opinion. He's always up to date with like the newest releases, and he's got a big following because of this. And he normally like reviews films like with a B- to an A, etc. And yeah, and then Jeremy Jahns as well is very similar, and these two share the same fan bases pretty much because they do the same content, but they always have different contrasting opinions on films, and that's interesting to see. And throughout their videos, they always speak on why, and it was really interesting. And then Mark Kermode as well, he's another film critic as well, but he's a lot more well known within the industry. He has like books, radio presentations, and as well a YouTube channel where he reviews films as well. And yeah, as I found Mark Kermode after, I found he has loads of books as well, and he had a biography talking about films he's reviewed in the past and his like personal experience within the film industry. And then 2 other books I found as well, which stood out to me the most, was this one here, and that's been going for years, from like the 70s maybe, and it still goes. They carry on updating it for different versions, and it's like a dictionary of all sorts of films, and they talk about like some of the best films released and some of the worst, and they just talk about what makes them good, and it just has a list of different kind of films. But in this one here, Roger Ebert, he was one of the people that I've looked into of film critics, and this book did stand out to me because he picks out a lot of films that he's found throughout time that he just personally hasn't liked, and he explains why and why they failed to like make a good impression on him. And then after like I've done all this research of realising film ratings and looking into critics' opinions of it, I did come to the conclusion that film reviews from professional opinions anyway are perceived to be pointless. And I did think that myself to begin with. And however, I still wanted to know these reviews have affected films throughout time, throughout like box office, etc. So I chose to finalise my research by looking into the history of film ratings. As you can see, I'll just put a little slide there. And I came across a website that showed me the evolution of film criticism. It showed me that films that were considered good decades ago compared to today and had a contrast in quality. I found it interesting due to the fact I discovered a change in generational upbringing and what content in films captures different types of audience's attention. So basically, I'm not too sure what the film on the bottom left is, but it's like old films back in the day were more serious, I suppose, and they definitely do contrast to films nowadays, depending on who the audience are. And obviously, Bad Boys for Life, films like that just weren't made back in the days. But obviously, with films becoming more popular, I suppose it's more range of films that are made, I suppose. And then, obviously, big no here, because I wanted to realise, do film reviews actually matter? And I just come to the conclusion that they don't. Obviously, I think it's a bit of, it's quite enjoyable to look into film reviews and other people's opinions. But on the main scene of things, when you take in consideration what films are reviewed, A Cat in the Hat, for example, going back to that, it's still a really enjoyable film. And let's say someone came across that film and wasn't sure what it was, they would look at the reviews, see 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, for example, and it shouldn't throw them off because obviously most people who I've seen anyway, have had experience with that film, really enjoy it. And obviously that can be the same for the different side aspect. Let's say there's a really like high rated film, like I don't know, like a 9 point something on Rotten Tomatoes, for example, and there probably like there's loads of people who wouldn't enjoy that film as well. So, yep. Throughout that, yep, I think films do stick to codes and conventions with script, character, and the way the film's made. But in conclusion, I do think film reviews don't matter. And yeah, that's my TED talk. Cheers.